Wrestling podcast never felt this great. Tables, ladders, chairs, they tell it all. From the highest highs to the lowest fall. Great and glory tales from the ring. Every chant, every cheer they'll bring. Devon and the Duke bring the heat. Wrestling tales knock you off your seat. Tune in now, don't you be late. Wrestling podcast never felt this great.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back. Welcome back to the three-time award-winning podcast, Devon and the Duke, hosted by your main man, Duke Loves Wrestling, and of course, the Hall of Famer, the man who has to eat crow, the man who has to admit before the entire world and the great spirit in the sky that all of WWE's current woes are because of the egg-sucking dog, the Ric Flair wannabe, Cody Rhodes, as seen on SmackDown recently, as identified on SmackDown recently. Everything that's been said on this podcast by yours truly has now been highlighted and officially admitted by the WWE Universe. So we want to hear it to kick off this episode. Our great Hall of Famer, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, an icon, one of the most recognizable people on the planet. We want to hear him admit that he was wrong and that everything I said about his friend Cody Rhodes is absolutely right. So, Brother Devon Dudley, why don't you bless us with a sermon about how you were wrong about Cody Rhodes and I was right? Let's hear it.
No. No, listen, I've been on that end, just like so many people have been on the end of the criticism when you're not doing well and they try to blame you. I ain't blaming Cody. That's my boy. I ain't blaming him. Y'all full of crap. That's all I'm gonna say. I got your back. I got your back, Cody.
I want him in polka dots. I want the face paint. I want him to bring back the mustache, whatever it takes, because whatever he's doing today ain't working. Okay? We saw it. Pat McAfee said it. They gave him a live microphone and he said it while Randy Orton was stomping him out. Okay? It reminded me of when the award-winning rapper Travis Scott smacked Cody so hard that he popped his eardrum. I'm telling you, brother, this is a consistent theme. The company has to punish this guy because he's not holding up his end of the bargain. And I'm surprised at you, Devon, a Hall of Famer like yourself, for supporting mediocrity. Okay, what's going on here?
Duke, all I'm going to say is this. Come WrestleMania, when it's all said and done, whether he retains his title or loses his title, I'm hoping that Triple H heard the show or somebody heard the show and will put a dark match between you and Cody, and then I will do all my talking.
You know, I got a bone to pick with you about that because you made that hashtag start to build up some momentum. It's not as viral as some other things, but it's building up the momentum where it's on the cusp of going viral. And I don't need these problems. Okay, I talk for a living. I don't get in there and mix it up like you guys do. So you can't be working me into some kind of nonsense where Cody's gonna, relieve his frustrations on me because he can't get the job done for the company. Come on now.
See, there you go. See?
Come on now.
There you go. You just keep digging yourself in a bigger ditch.
They had to dust off John Cena. The man's supposed to be retired. They had to dust him off and have him be a host just to save Cody. And what did Cena say to Cody?
Duke, you're asking for it.
What do you think about WWE using real life fan criticism and incorporating that into the build for WrestleMania's main event? I mean, it seems kind of clever on my end, but as you, somebody who's lived it, what do you think about the way they're doing that?
I think it's great, and I tell you why. You're beating everybody else to the punch, as opposed to letting it really hurt Cody in any way, shape, or form. You're beating them to the punch, if any of that is true. So it's kind of like, and I might be a little off in making this comparison between the two. But did you ever see the movie 8 Mile?
Absolutely.
Do you remember when Eminem was going up against Papa Doc and all of them?
Yes,
He
sir. Yes,
destroyed
sir.
he destroyed the first three, and now he's up to Papa Doc. And all that stuff that they did to him, Eminem knew that he was going to bring it against them. So what did he do? He beat them to the punch. He said what he knew they were going to say and formed it in his own way. Therefore, by the time Papa Doc's turn came up, he couldn't say anything. He was at a loss for words because he beat him to the punch. And I think that's the same thing. I might be off in making that comparison, but I don't think I am.
Do you think that based on what's happening to Cody, and we've seen this in the past where he's taken beatdowns left and right, no different from when Dusty Rhodes was taking beatdowns, but are we in a situation where he has to win at WrestleMania, or do you think that pivoting to Randy and having Cody chase, at least through SummerSlam is a better move?
I don't know. I don't know. I still think Randy might go over. That's my opinion. I think Randy might go over. And I also feel, that there's a possibility he might turn heel. Who knows? I don't know. But it does seem a little bit, if it does look a little bit like there's a possibility. And why not? I mean, it seems, as if, the fans are turning against him anyway. But it's almost like, why give them what they want? Why let them dictate? Listen, Vince never let them dictate Cena when they were booing him out of the arena and all of that. He still kept him babyface. He still had that appeal to some fans that he was over. And he proved that. And this could be the same thing with Cody. We're only seeing what we see on TV. We're not seeing the millions of people outside of TV when Cody goes out in public or when he's on social media, when he's on social events promoting and things like that with WWE. We don't see that. We only see what we see on TV and the story that is being projected in front of us. So maybe he'll go over, maybe he'll outlast this. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see.
Have you ever witnessed a babyface who was getting booed and it really bothered them personally? Have you ever seen somebody actually take it to heart and be bothered by something like that?
Yes, I did, and it's funny that you say that. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was somebody. It was a baby face, but he was being booed. It was somebody. It was during the Attitude Era, and I'm trying to remember who it was. But I've seen it happen one time. I just can't remember the person it was.
Wow.
And yeah, I've seen that before. Like I said, it was during the Attitude Era, and I can't remember what it was. Bubba would probably know better than I would, or remember, I should say, better than I would. He has a great memory with people in terms of stuff like that. He remembers all that shit.
How would you coach that? I mean, you having one of the premier pro wrestling schools on the planet, how would you coach somebody from a mental standpoint on how to overcome the feeling of, hey, I'm supposed to be the top baby face, the fans are booing me, what do I do?
Well, my thing would be just keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about it, even though you should in a sense, but you can't. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. It'll come around. But again, you got to also look at the story that is given to the individual. You got to help them out in some way, shape, or form to get that momentum back as a babyface. Um, you can't just
Hmm.
hope that things turn around on their own. You have to write or do something that puts him in that predicament to push him and to get him back on top as a babyface. So it has a lot to do with the writers and the people that are in charge, coming up with those ideas. I don't know if wrestling is getting stale because of the fact that we don't have the minds that we used to have back in the day. A Pat Patterson, a Dusty Rose, you know, just so many greats that were responsible for some of the memories that we know and love today. I don't know. I mean, Triple H is really good at what he does, no question about that. Um, but how many more Triple H's do you have? Because Hunter is definitely a student of the game. You can't deny that. But how many people are on his level, other than Paul Heyman, that can actually, you know, bring us back to what we used to have back in the day? I just don't know if we'll ever go back. And I was thinking about this in the car ride coming home one day, the other day, and I was saying to myself, how can we come back, or how can we go back to yesterday? How can we bring the way wrestling was back to today's wrestling? And I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. It's so far gone. It's nowhere near what it used to be. I don't know if we will ever be able to get back. I don't think people have the mentality to sit down and wait for things like they used to back in the day. The internet has ruined that. And the fact that we allow people to have their opinions on what we do in this business, which, remember, in the 80s and even the 90s, you weren't allowing the fans to dictate that. The only thing that they were able to dictate is the booing and the cheering. That was it. You never got, they weren't on social media. They weren't, voicing their opinions or saying anything like that. And I think that's somewhat how we need to go back to, but we're not going to. Social media is here and it's not going anywhere. And it's going to allow people to say and do whatever they want. And, it is what it is with that.
Yeah, I don't think we can ever go back to those days, just because of technology. We're going to be fighting a different battle within the next 5 to 10 years, and the battle is going to be real human beings or AI. So if I could watch a match between Luthez and Andre the Giant, because AI can take the likeness of those guys, and especially when they're at the peak of their career, and they could simulate matches like that and make it look as real as possible, then why would I care about whoever this person is coming out of wrestling school and stuff like that? So I think there's a bigger battle on the horizon, and we got to figure out from a more modern standpoint, what is it going to take to keep fans interested in real human beings continuing to do this thing known as pro wrestling? I mean, have you ever even thought about that notion there, Devon, that literally we could be in an era? You see the AI videos now; they're only going to get better, but we could be in an era not too long from here where you're just going to be able to get what you want, which is the most classic people battling each other. What do you think about that?
Mm. And wait, in what aspect do you mean?
Well, I'll give you an example. You play the 2K video game, so you were playing as
Yeah.
yourself against whomever.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Devon Dudley at the height of his career in the Attitude Era being able to take on Junkyard Dog in a match.
Mm-hmm.
AI can do that. So the paying customer, are they going to be as interested in this indie kid and this kid who came up through the ranks in the company? Or are they going to want to see Devon versus Junkyard Dog? Which one are they going to spend money on? That's going to become a real problem in the not too distant future.
Yeah, it's going to be Devon Dudley and the Junkyard Dog. Uh, the
Yeah.
Dudley Boys versus the Road Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could make
So
that
where does
happen, I
that
mean,
leave
hell, I
us?
would want that. Yeah, I mean, listen, technology is a B. I'm telling you, it's one of those things where I used to always laugh when I used to watch the cartoon The Jetsons. Elroy
Yep.
Jetson. When he would play his game, his video game, and his father
Yep.
and mother would call him to come to dinner or what have you. He'd be like, "All right, mom," and he would put the bat. He's inside the game playing against the game, and it's like, wow. As a kid, I remember going, "Wow, man, that'd be cool if we could ever get to that." And somebody said to me, "Devon, we will never get there where you'll be able to play inside the video game. I know technology is moving fast, but you will never get to, be like that." And now look at where we are.
We're there.
I can go to China and order one of these robots, and that's a female maid. Have her come in and clean my house. Don't have to pay her nothing. Just
Yeah.
give her some electricity and plug her up and give
Yeah.
her some electricity. You know,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
even guys who can't get dates or is horrible at it. You go to China. I believe it's China. I believe that's where I saw it.
It's China. Yeah.
Yeah, it's China. You go
Yeah.
to China, you get a mail ordered bride, and there you go. And as real looking as real life there is, it's just so real. You believe everything about this robot. It looks, smells, feel exactly like a real woman. And this is where we are nowadays. It's like you cannot trust anything anymore.
It's true. It's true. All AI needs is 6 seconds of your voice, and it can have you cuss somebody out that you've never even spoken to before.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen where guys get fooled by men who dress up like women who look exactly like a woman, but yet these guys who are supposedly straight fall for it. And when they get
Yep.
back to the room and they realize they're dealing with the same body parts as they are, they get mad. And now there's an incident that's about to happen. You just
Yeah.
don't know. Technology and life has changed so bad. I would love to go back to the early millennium between 2000, 2010, the 90s, from 90 to 98, and the 80s, from 80 to 89, and go as far back as 75, 75 to 79. Those were great years for me. And I remember growing up, life was a little bit more simpler then, not to mention it might have been chaotic, but I just don't feel like it was as chaotic as it is now. I mean, we all say, and you all hear people go, the end of days are coming. God is coming back and this and that. And they've said that for years. But now I'm beginning to think that when they say it now, it's the truth.
Mm.
It just seems like the
Yeah.
world is just it's so bad right now. I don't want to bring any more kids into this world because I don't want them to have to deal with this. I feel guilty as it is for having the kids that I have now because they have to deal with this. It's like, how terrified am I to have to know one day I take my child to school, I get a phone call saying Mr. Hughes has been a shooting at the school. When did all of this start to happen? It's like now your kids aren't safe to go to school. There's police officers with rifles and machine guns, guarding elementary school students. It's like, what? You got to be kidding me. You can't even go to church now without having a cop. My
Yeah.
church that I go to has a cop, has police, a place of worship. Now you have to worry about getting shot. You have to worry about some nutcase coming in and shooting up the place. It's like, what the hell has happened?
And you know what's crazy about that, Devon? You're an 80s kid. I'm an 80s kid. As bad as it was back then, we didn't have mass shootings in schools like we do today.
No, no, you didn't.
As bad as it was, we didn't have that.
Listen,
How is that possible?
the only thing I had to worry about was going to school, not getting in trouble, hoping that when I wrote that girl a note that sat across me. Hey, do you like me? Would you like to be my girlfriend? Is check the box yes or no, and make sure you slide it underneath her book when she either goes to the bathroom to come back, or she goes to the blackboard and comes back to her seat and sees a note right there. That was my
Yep.
major concern. Now, even back in the day when you got into a fight with another kid, you fought. You might have got your ass whooped, or you might have whooped his, or what have you, but you didn't have to worry about nobody coming back with a gun.
No,
You
definitely
didn't have to
not.
worry about nobody trying to hurt you in that way. You got your ass kicked. You picked yourself up, dust your clothes off, went back out there and did it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? You could have been a winner today and a loser tomorrow. I got to get my lick back.
Exactly. Yep.
I had a guy. I had a guy in middle school. Neither one of us were in a gang, and we were surrounded by kids who were just starting to form gangs and join gangs and what have you. So he and I figured out that if we just fought each other as often as we could, everybody else would leave us alone because they just thought we were crazy. It's just like, look at these two at it again. They can't stand each other. Meanwhile, this was a thing that we did in order to keep each other safe, as crazy as that sounds. You know what I mean?
No,
But
I
like you
believe it.
said, though, we didn't have to worry about no damn mass shooting. You know,
Hmm.
that's too bad, man. It's too bad. You know, but I'll tell you what's too good. It looks like the company paid some attention to us. You talk about listening to what we're saying. Oba Femi has been dusting off Brock Lesnar, and Lesnar has looked more vulnerable over the past couple of weeks than I've ever seen him in his career. Talk to me about Oba Femi tossing Lesnar around and putting some fear into the big man.
Oh, Oba is a big man himself and puts fear in people. He's done it in NXT. He even made visits, I believe, to TNA. He's a big, powerful man. So if anybody's gonna be matched up with Brock, the perfect guy will be Oba. And not only that, but his presence, his whereabouts in there gives him the opportunity to be able to do that. And it works. The fans love it. He's now getting Goldberg chants. In other words, Oba, Oba.
Yeah,
I mean, he's now getting these chants. And I remember watching that at the last time. I was like, wow, he's really getting Goldberg chants. It's like they went from Goldberg to
yeah.
Oba now. It's totally different ballgame. Oba is the guy right now. Probably nobody saw this coming. Maybe they looked like he was just going to be some big guy that went through NXT and was going to be here today and gone tomorrow. Well, he proved a lot of people wrong. And I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that he was able to do that because now he is going to rule the industry. And only fitting. Look, Brock has been on top for a long time, but it might be time for Brock to step aside and let a new monster come in. I mean, he's over. His dance is over. He's got everybody doing it. And again, he's getting Oba chants like Bill Goldberg did. And to as Brock is talking, you hear the chants for Oba. And when he finally comes out, you would have thought The Rock hit the ring for the first time back in 2000. I mean, he got a huge pop at the Garden.
It's true. It's true. I listen. We've been talking about Oba and singing his praises all along. You know him, so obviously you got to see him firsthand and what have you. But
Yeah, he actually
when I
he actually
see,
came down to the school and worked out a couple of times.
oh wow, okay, so you've
Yeah.
gotten to really assist in building what we see out there. When I see grandmas online going viral doing the Oba Femi walk, that's when I know this guy's over. He's over. When the grandmas start mocking you and saying that you're their favorite, it's over. That dude,
Listen,
he's at the top, man.
I like it because it's such an easy dance that even I can do it. Somebody that have two left feet, even I can
Without
do it
hurting anything,
without hurting anything. Exactly.
right? But you know what's interesting? As we see the Oba build happening, and like you said, in the vein of a Brock Lesnar. He's got the Goldberg chant, like he's the big bad big man. On the other side, we have Trick Williams, who, in a lot of ways, he's filling that Rock space. Trick is way over, and I noticed that they've been having him do a lot of media, and he's been crushing it. Trick Williams has been crushing all of these mainstream media interviews. What do you think about your boy Trick doing what he's doing?
I love it. I'm very proud of him. He went from being Carmella's sidekick to someone who probably wasn't going to make it, people maybe thought. He turned all of that around. The minute Carmella went up to the main roster, he changed the game for himself. He made himself a star, and now he's about to become a major superstar. I'm very happy and proud of him. I told him that when him and I did that um, video where I played Reverend Devon, and I was preaching to him. I pulled him aside and said, "I'm very happy, very proud of where you came from and where you are now. It's truly incredible to have those people backing him the way they do. Because again, I don't think many people might have thought he would have gotten to this level, but he proved them all wrong. And
Mm.
that's the name of the game.
Yeah, I think the first time we saw Trick on TV, he was with Apollo Crews, standing next to
Yes.
him as one of his henchmen. That was a
Hmm.
long time ago, brother. That was a long time
Absolutely.
ago. You
Hmm.
know, so for him to go from that to where he is today, where legitimately he is probably the number one media guy for WWE right now. They have him on the press circuit like he's the Miz. He's doing interviews with everybody, all the morning shows, all the sports shows on ESPN, all of that, man. And he's crushing it. He is crushing it. You know. So shout out to Trick. That's a good dude right there for sure. You know. Now,
Absolutely.
Devon Devon Dudley, somehow, some way, you managed to elevate your brand even more recently. Um, you did a interview with Vlad TV. Talk to me about that
Yes.
experience, man, because it's gone viral. The clips have been coming out. Now the full interview just dropped the other day. How was that experience?
It was great. I loved it. One of the reasons why I wanted to do it was because of the fact that I know if anybody could help me, launch the YouTube channel, it could be his show. And it has done just that. So I was very happy to be able to do that. Were there some controversial questions that was said about racism, things like that, that were asked, I should say? Yes, but I gave my honest opinion on it, and I stuck by it. Not degrading anybody, not trying to put anybody down, not trying to say anything, but I was able to get my point across. And listen, if anybody has a problem, with anything that might have been said, come talk to me. I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to, have an open mind um, to what you might think. And again, but it really wasn't bad. It was something that was touched upon very quick and simple, and that was it. And we went on to the next question. It was more about my life, how I grew up in the business. And I never have, we plan on doing a documentary on my YouTube channel for that. But it was more about my life and how I got brought up in this business and where I came from. Grew up in the projects, like I always said. Mother was pregnant at 15, had me at 16. It was rough, had to get me out of Brooklyn, New York fast because people were either getting killed or going to jail. People that were around me, friends and things like that. And my family did not want to make me another statistic. So they got me out of there. And thank God they did because I am the success where I am today is because of the success of my family doing what they did. And I love them to death for doing that. So that's why I really did the interview to just really, help with the YouTube channel, but most and get the word out there. But most importantly, tell my story about how I grew up and where I grew up.
Listen, man, I'll tell you, the way that you represented yourself was so fantastic. I'm very proud of you. I enjoyed everything. You know, even though we do this show together and we're friends and we have great conversations, and I know you and I know your career, I still learned a lot of stuff watching the Vlad interview. So that was dope. That was dope, man. And for
Thank you.
all you folks out there, always worry, Vlad is going to trick you. He's going to trick you into saying things you don't want to say and this and that. He can only trick somebody who can be tricked. Okay. Obviously, Devon Dudley ain't one of those people, because every single time you were asked something that could have gone the wrong way, you were able to maintain your composure and you knocked it out of the park. So again, kudos to you, man. That was a pro job all around.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Because listen, you and I, in the beginning, I used to ask you that question. Hey, man, is there anything you don't want me to ask you? What have you? And I always found it interesting that you would say, you can ask me whatever you want. It's incumbent upon me to make sure that I don't say something I don't want to say. So you've always owned that, which I'm really impressed with. Listen, I've been interviewing people for over a decade. I done heard it all. The fact that you take that responsibility and the fact that you're present enough and you trust yourself enough to know that you're not going to go down roads you don't want to go down. There's a lot to be learned from that, bro. Seriously, there's a lot to be learned from that. So, that's good stuff.
I appreciate that. Thank
Good
you,
stuff.
boss.
We got WrestleMania week coming up in 2 weeks. I know that you got a stacked schedule. Is there anything in particular? We'll talk more about it next week, but just looking at it overall right now, is there anything in particular you want to highlight that folks definitely want to make sure they're there to go see you?
Yeah, so I'm going to be at WrestleCon all 3 days. It's going to be me and Spike coming out of retirement to do autograph signings, and Bubba. Now, I know there's particular dates that Bubba can't do because of Busted Open Radio, his commitment there, but he will be joining us. So you will get on those days, a couple of those days, you will get the three of us. And a lot of people have been asking for Spike. Well, you have the opportunity. Here is Spike in Vegas. And if anything, come down and please make sure that you come visit us and see us. It's gonna be, it's gonna be pretty cool to hear, not only to see me, Bubba, but to see Spike, who I haven't seen in almost 10 years. So it's real interesting. I'm ready. How do I say this? I'm ready to see that little shit. I always told him, I say, hey, you little shit, what's going on? Oh, F you, Devon. I was like, yeah, we're still brothers. We're still brothers.
I love it. The family getting back together. They're taking over Vegas. I'm telling you, man. Listen, if Frank Sinatra can take over Vegas, if Bruno Mars can take over Vegas, why can't the Dudley boys? So, Bubba, Devon, Spike, the whole crew. I love it. That's good stuff there. What about the YouTube channel, man?
Oh, well, the YouTube channel is doing great. We got almost 230,000 followers. 230,000 followers, which is doing really, really good. Devon Dudley YouTube channel. Just please like and subscribe. Let's get the word out there. Have them take a trip to Dudleyville and enjoy the content that's on there. One of the shows that I liked when I was playing the video game on the show, and some people actually took me seriously when I was saying, oh, this is BS, man. Devon is, my arms don't look like that, and this and that. And I'm like, and I'm reading some of the comments, and I'm like, dude, relax. It's a joke. It's not serious. I'm talking about a goddamn video game. They're not gonna have my exact likeness to it. I'm not mad at 2K. It's called being in character. Shit, I don't do it no more in the ring on TV anymore. So why not do it on my YouTube channel? So I'm just playing around, having
Exactly.
fun. No one's mad. No one's gonna get upset at 2K because Nia Jax is or Bubba is number is higher than mine. It's a joke. It's nothing serious. Although there might be a 10% out of 100%. There might be a 10% where I'm like a little annoyed by that. But we don't talk about that 10%. It's all good. But no. But I had fun. But the most important about that show was I got a chance to have my daughter on there. Someone who I love dearly. I love all my kids dearly. Talia, 7 years old. You know, she's my mini me. They always say the first girl is gonna look like her father. She looks exactly like me. She's the girl version, but the prettier version. I'm the ugly duckling. She's the princess. She is the beautiful version of what I would have looked like if I was a girl.
I
But no,
love
I
it.
love her to
I love
death.
it.
I love it. I actually love it. She melts my heart. Her and her sister Amaya, who's 7. I'm sorry, who's 6, and my little peanut. I call him DJ. Those three, man, they are my joy. And my other 4 sons, don't get me wrong, they're my joy too. But it's something about when you're a certain age and the other ones are grown, they starting their own lives and their own family. So, that part is over with them to a certain degree. But the new set of Dudleys that came into my life, I just I can't even put it in words how much I love those guys.
I love it, man. And you're talking about you're not going to have any more. Come on, Devon. We can get one more out of you, can't we?
Maybe 3 or 4.
you're gonna have a Dudley army over there. I'm telling you, man. My goodness.
Hey,
My
it
goodness.
might happen. You never know. But
You
no.
never know.
But also,
You never know.
also, I'm gonna be on Vegas, WrestleLit in Vegas. It's a it's gonna be a live party that's going on down there. It's April 16th, and I'm gonna be there along with a host of other people, wrestling superstars, legends, that's gonna be there as well. Check out the website, uh, or check out the Instagram, I should say, on WrestleLit Vegas, and see if everybody that's going to be there.
Yeah, check out their website. Show up, even better. Get a ticket and show up so you can see all the great stars that are going to be there at Wrestle Lit, including our Hall of Famer here, Devon Dudley. Should be a good time. Listen, you're taking over Vegas. That's what it sounds like to me, man. You got something going on all week. Damn.
Absolutely. And
No?
right before that, I got to say, right before that, I'm going to be in Missouri, taking on some stuff too. I'm going to be at a Comic Con. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. It's one of those things where I love to just give back to the fans that have been so good to me. So on April 11th and 12th, I'm going to be in Springfield, Missouri at the Missouri Comic Con. I'll be there on April 11th through the 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, and on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, come on down. I got autographed 8x10s. You take a picture. I've got Dudley, old school ECW Dudley t-shirts. I've got hats that are coming as well. Um, and I also have action figures on hand that will be sold there as well. So come on down and check us out.
I love it. I love it. As always, folks, Duke Loves Wrestling on Facebook, on X, Duke Loves Wrestling at gmail.com. The 10th anniversary of the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, the show itself, the brand itself, is coming up. You never know who the featured guests are going to be. I like to have some kind of Hall of Famer, and then I like to have somebody up and coming so they can give them the rub, so to speak. So stay tuned for that, folks. Keep listening to the channel. It'll pop up. I don't like to advertise too early. I just put it out there, and y'all will flock to it. But I'm just excited, man. I'm excited. It's WrestleMania season. Devon is as hot as he's ever been. Devon the Duke, we're knocking it out of the park. You folks keep sharing it. We got the Vlad TV connection there, which was fantastic. There's just so many positive things going on. And I want to end on this before I ask Devon for the word of the week. we know that it's a challenging time in history right now. There's so many things that divide us. Thank God we have pro wrestling. Thank God we have shows like Devon and the Duke. We have Devon's YouTube. We have Duke Loves Wrestling. Thank God we have these mediums where we could take a break from the chaos that is the world right now and just come together. Everybody from all walks of life come together and have a good time talking about something that makes us happy. So when the going gets tough, folks, make sure you're leaning on these things that bring you joy, because that can make all the difference, for sure. Devon, what do you got for our word of the week?
Well, the word for the week is I'm going to say this. Speak your mind, say what you feel, but be respectful about it. And for those that can't understand or don't want to understand, forget them. Because where God's going to take you, they can't be with you. It's like a rocket, when it goes up to in space and the two boosters on the side fall off. Because the two boosters on the side can't go up in space with the rocket or the shuttle. So they fall off. Where God's going to take you, they can't go. So never mind them. Leave them behind if they're not wanting to jump on the bandwagon with you. Leave them behind and enjoy your success.
Oof. Testify.
Yes, my brother.
Strictly for the culture every day. Step in style in your unique way. Patterns and colors so defined. All about the perfect line. Be yourself, let your spirit fly. In this fashion, you'll touch the sky. Strictly for the culture, brand so fine. Dress to impress and show your shine. Strictly for the culture, every day. Step in style in your unique way.
Visit www.strictlyfortheculture.ca.
Backstage whispers and the crowds roar. From matching giants to legends of yore. Devon's wisdom and Duke's keen view. Every episode feels like it's brand new. Devon and the Duke bring the heat. Wrestling tales knock you off your seat. Tune in now, don't you be late. Wrestling podcast never fails.